Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to yet another Shop My Stash video. I post these videos every 2 weeks where we cycle through my makeup collection. I talk to you guys about the products that I was focused on the last rotation, and then we shop my makeup stash for new products to work on for the next 2 weeks. If you guys are new to my channel or my Shop My Stash series, I will let you know that I do have quite a few products that I'm currently working on in various projects. I will try and link as many project plan playlists down below that I can so that you guys know what other products that I'm working on, but I am going to try and breeze through any product that might be going in a project, and I do feel like I have just so many right now, specifically in like the foundation and primer category. But if you guys are interested in seeing the products that I was using last rotation, as well as helping me decide what to select for this next rotation, then stay tuned. First, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll consider doing so before you leave today. And other than that, let's just jump into the video. Alright you guys, so starting on this side, as we always do, I also want to warn you that I didn't wear makeup as much as I usually do the last couple of weeks as well. So there's definitely some products that I feel like didn't get touched really at all. But like I said, in my foundation and primer drawer, the majority of these products are going in projects. So up on the top, I have my Farsali Liquid Glass, which is in a project, Milk Hydro Grip in a project, Max Strobe Cream in a project, Dior Face and Body in a project, CoverGirl Healthy Elixir in a project, L'Oreal 24-Hour Fresh Wear in a project. Super ironic, and I feel like this has happened to me a couple of times this year. I had pulled my YSL Touche Clot All-in-One Glow to work on last Shop My Stash rotation, and then it was randomly selected for me to work on in my update for my whole collection project pan. So this didn't make its way into this drawer originally due to being in a project, but now this is in a project as well. Clinique Even Better is also in a project. Wander Beauty Nude Illusion is in a project. And then these two are like my permanent summer staples, so these will stay. So you guys, I'm not going to pick any new foundations. I have a couple of new foundations I've purchased that I need to be testing out. We'll get to my new drawer later, but I won't be even going into my foundation drawer to grab anything. My IT Cosmetics CC Illuminating Cream I use all summer long because this does have SPF 50 in it, and then I love to have a tinted moisturizer for the summer, and I'm currently trying to finish up my Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer. And then as far as primer is concerned, the Flower Beauty In Your Prime Illuminating Primer is in a project, as well as the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer, meaning that the Catrice Fresh It Up primer is the only primer that isn't currently going in a project. I believe I used this 3 times, so not a ton, but because I want to still cycle through some of my other primers and I have quite a few going in a project, I will put this away for the time being. Moving into the next drawer, I have concealer, powder, and bronzer. So my Smashbox and Josie Mayron concealers are going in a project, and then my Tarte Shape Tape I use as my lid like setting shade in place of a shadow primer. So these 3 are kind of permanent. And then for the concealer I selected to work on, I have the Ulta Beauty Full Coverage Liquid Concealer. Again, I use this 3 to 4 times, so I'm going to put this away for the time being. My Ciate London Coconut Everyday Vacay Powder I'm almost done with, and this is going in a project, so this will stay. My NARS, this is a highlight. It's in the wrong drawer. Okay, so the Balm Desert going in a project. MAC Sunwashed Bronzer in Canyon Dreaming. This I did use a few times, so I will put this back. And then also my Natasha Denona Bronze and Glow I had selected to work on. Now I did only reach for this one time. And this is like the only time of year I reach for this. I'm going to keep this in rotation for one more rotation. Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting Powder is going in a project. Tarte Park Avenue Princess is going in a project. And then my Milk Matte Bronzing Stick is my only cream bronzer. And I like to keep this permanently in rotation for days that I am opting for creams. And then this mascara is in the wrong drawer. Okay, down in this drawer, we have my Benefit Cheekathon palette, which I am working on in a project. I have my Kaja Beauty Bento Trios, which I like to just permanently keep here. This Ace Beauté shadow is going in a project. Still have yet to use ColourPop Socialize. I really, really need to make an effort to reach for this. I feel like this has been rolling for the last like 6 weeks. So this will stay. My Halo Top in ColourPop Super Shock Shadow is also going in a project. And then I did not reach for this liquid shadow at all. And I said last rotation, if I didn't reach for it, I was going to declutter this. So I will declutter this. This is from Model & Co. And I'm sure I got this in some sort of subscription box. I have my ABH Dip Brow and a couple of liquid liners or gel liners in here that I just permanently keep here. My NYX Glitter Glue. My Wander Beauty Liquid Shadow is going in a project. I have my Stila Shimmering Glow, which I will put away for the time being and select a different one to work on. And then I like to keep my Stila Glitter and Glow in Perlina in rotation at all time, just because if I want to add a little something extra to the look, I usually just tap this on my lids, and I love this shade. This is definitely by far one of my favorite Stila Glitter and Glows, and this is one that I would consider always having in my collection, whereas most other glitter and glows at this point I'm kind of over just because how quickly they dry out, but I really like this one in Perlina. Okay, moving over to this side, in the top drawer we have all of my blushes, and I'm currently working on quite a few blushes for a face palette to work on. I had selected the Becca Après Ski Glow palette, and I reached for this I believe 3 times. I think I will keep this I think I will keep this in rotation one more time just because I want to get some use out of this bronzer. I didn't reach for this at all. I mostly reached for these 3 shades. And maybe I want to see if I can even get use out of the bronzer topper for me as well. Okay, and then my Hourglass Ghost Quad I keep in here permanently. I really like to use this top Brilliant Nude shade in case I go a little too heavy with my blush. It really helps to tone it down. Otherwise, I also like to add it if I want a little shimmer to my blush that day. Maybe I have a matte blush that I want to add a bit of a sheen to. And I also just think this is such a beautiful palette. So I'm going to keep this in rotation always. My Charlotte Tilbury Peachgasm blush wand is going in my Roulette Pan collab. That will be ending on the 15th. So this won't be in rotation for too much longer. MAC Warm Soul, I did use this I believe 3 times, so I will put this back. This is my favorite time of year to reach for one of my favorite blushes in my collection, which is Buxom Seychelles. So even though I'm getting use out of this, I know I will just continue to pull this out of my closet if I put this back. So I may as well just keep this in rotation. My Hourglass Euphoric Fusion is in a project. My Hourglass Mood Exposure is in a project. Becca Flower Child I have reached for a few times, and it has been in rotation for at least 2 or 3 weeks at this point, 2 or 3 rotations, so I will put this back. I do like to keep MAC Fairly Precious permanently in rotation in the summertime. This is an extra dimension blush, so it is almost like a highlighting blush topper, so I will keep this in rotation. My Milk blush stick is in a project, and then I have my Cover FX Duo in Soft Peach, which I think I reached for at least once, possibly 2 times. I will put this back just for right now. Moving on to my highlight drawer, the 3 highlights in the back are currently in projects. Then we have my MAC Hyper Real Glow palette. I did finally get some good use out of this palette the past rotation, so I'm ready to put this back. NARS Fort de France, I think I maybe reached for 1 time, so I am going to keep this one in rotation. My Milk Pressed highlighter in Iced, I reached for a couple of times, so I'm ready to put this back. And then this MAC face palette has been going for 2 rotations now, and I did get some more use out of this palette this past rotation. I've mentioned this before, but this is not an impressive palette in my opinion, but I will keep it for the time being. I did get some good use out of it though, so I'm ready to put this away for now. And then I did not get a chance to try out the Artist Couture Cocoa Bling highlight and the Summer Haze highlight. I kind of like to just keep permanently in rotation for the summer, so these 2 will stay. Okay, and then this is a new change, but I've decided my bottom drawer is going to be for new products that I'm testing out. I have some already in here, and then I'll grab some out of my new drawer as well, but this just is an easy way for me to store new products that I'm testing and haven't yet reviewed and want to make sure that I'm really focused on. So what I have currently in this drawer, I have my mascaras over to the side, and then I actually have this OFRA Moisture Repair Mask. This was sent over to me from OFRA through Octoly, and this is one of their, I believe, new masks. It's a super hydrating mask, and it's supposed to just boost your skin's moisture. I've used this, I believe, 5 times at this point. You're supposed to use it like 2, possibly 3. You're supposed to use this 2 to 3 times a week for the best results, and I find that I usually just use this like every 3rd day. I don't feel like it's a mask that you could overuse just because it's more of a moisturizing mask, but you essentially just put it on your skin and leave it on for 10 minutes. This is what it looks like. It's actually a really runny consistency. It's a little bit runnier than I would like, but you put it on your skin for 10 minutes and then you just rinse it off. It's kind of an interesting concept for a moisture mask. I feel like normally with moisturizing masks, I've typically just tried like overnight sleeping moisture masks, never necessarily like a wash off one. So I found that to be a little bit interesting. I'm not 100% sure on the price of this, but I know that there is a code OFRA20 for 20% off that you can use on their website. I don't know if I feel like this is worth it. I don't know if this is one that I would purchase again. I don't feel like I notice a huge difference in my skin. Like I probably would notice the same as if I just went to bed with a nice rich moisturizer. Now I do know that they have other masks in their line that I have not tried, but I feel like I don't feel like I could recommend the moisture mask. I just feel like it would be the same as using a rich moisturizer. So that's kind of what I think on this. I will put this in my bathroom. I'll have no problem using this up, but not something I would repurchase. So then I have my Kosas bronzer. I don't want this to turn into like a review since it's the Shop My Stash. I've used this a few times. I did go with the shade 2, which looks to be a little bit dark, but used with a fluffy brush, I can make this work for me, and I think it's beautiful so far, but I'm going to continue to test this out. I also have my Giorgio Armani Neo Nude True to Skin Natural Glow Foundation. I've only used this twice, still testing this guy out. I did get mine, I believe, in the shade 4.5 to hopefully match me a little bit better in the summer. I also picked up a bunch of new products from Kosas because I do plan to do a dedicated Kosas brand review on my channel in the future, so I had to get their tinted face oil naturally. And the first time I put this, like swatch this on my hand, I was really nervous about this, but you guys, I've been really impressed with this thus far. I want to do like a testing this next to the Ilia serum to see how those two compare. I'm going to continue to test this out because I've only used this 3 or 4 times, but I've been really impressed so far. So then I have the Iconic London Illuminator drops. I've only used these twice. I got these in a BoxyCharm, so I'm still testing these out. I've used this quite a bit, but I've really been enjoying this. This is the Nude Sticks Nudies All Over Face Dewy color in the shade Soft Peach Peony. I added this to my loves list, and I definitely want to pick this shade up. I think it is one of the most beautiful cream products for blush that I have tried, and I'm definitely interested in owning this in the full size. And then finally, I have the cream blush from Fenty Beauty. Actually, I forgot that I did add this to a project, so I need to move this up to my blush drawer. This is in the shade Petal Poppin', and I've used this 1 time, I believe, thus far, so maybe 2 times, but obviously I need to get a ton more use out of this. Okay, the palettes I selected outside of the palettes I'm working on in my Partners in Cream, or not Partners in Cream, The palettes that I selected to work on outside of my Pan Those Eyeshadows project was the Dose of Colors Sassy Siennas palette, and I did get some use out of this, so I can put that back. Also, the Urban Decay Born to Run palette I've had now in 2 rotations, and I've used this a ton, so this can go away. I also pulled my Huda Beauty Neon palette. This is the Neon Orange palette. I did use this twice, but this is like the only time of year I really can get use out of this palette. So I'm just going to keep this in rotation through the summer. And then I had also pulled my Natasha Denona Gold palette, but I did not use this at all. So this will remain in rotation. All right, you guys, so now to shop my stash. Like I said, I'm not going to select any foundation to work on because I have so many that I'm working on in projects as well as trying to test out, but I will select one primer to work on, and I think I'm gonna go for my Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow primer. It's been a super long time since I've reached for this, and this is a good time of year to work on this. This is a very expensive primer, and I would hate to have it go to waste. So then we have my powder and concealer drawer, which I actually feel like my powder and concealer collection are pretty well under control. I don't think I actually... I don't have that many powders. I'm going to grab my Glossier Wowder just in case I do end up finishing up that Ciate London powder. I do enjoy the Glossier Wowder quite a bit. It's a nice lightweight powder. I still have quite a bit of this left. This is something that I would repurchase once I finish it. And honestly, I would like to make an effort to finish this because I am interested in picking up some Glossier products, but would like to do that maybe at the time that I replace this. So if I can get this to a place where I'm almost done with it, then I would feel more comfortable placing an order with Glossier, because then I could replace this and order the other products that I'm interested in. So I will pull this to work on it. And then for concealer, I know I just had this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go for my Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer. This used to be one of my favorite concealers. This is a little bit more medium, like light to medium coverage. Really great for this time of year. And I feel like I'm getting close to possibly finishing this. And even though I have other ones that are going in projects, it would be nice to also work on this and potentially move this out of my collection. This is something in the past that I definitely would have repurchased, but I think now I prefer the Kosas one just a little bit more than this. So if I could finish this up, move it out of my collection, and have one less concealer to count towards my makeup inventory, that would make me super happy. Okay, so then moving on to my bronzer drawer, I am going to be grabbing my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. I have been reaching for this to bronze my body a little bit to try and help match all of my body when I'm self-tanning, and I've really been enjoying this. I think it's been beautiful for the beginning of the summer, so I'm going to grab this, but I'm also going to grab my Hourglass bronzer. I own Luminous Bronze Light, and I love this bronzer for the summer. This is something that I might permanently keep in rotation until the summer is over, just because it is so beautiful with the like luminosity that it gives. It's an interesting swatch right there, but I think that this is beautiful on the skin. So I'm going to pull this and we'll call it good for bronzer. Okay, for my blush, I am going to grab the Glossier Cloud Paint in Puff. I've been really wanting to reach for cream products a lot more, and it's been a little bit since I have used this, so I will pull this. And then I'm also going to pull Buxom Mykonos, just because this is one of the only times a year that I feel comfortable reaching for this blush. And then I also want to pull, I want to say, I think it's Diffused Heat. Let me see. Yes, I'm going to pull Diffused Heat from Hourglass as well. Hourglass has one of my favorite blush formulas, but especially this time of year, it just gives such a beautiful luminosity to the cheeks without being too like glittery. So I'm going to pull this, and we will call it good for the blush drawer. All right, moving on to the highlight drawer. What do I want to reach for? Oh, I don't know if this is going to be too... Just to stay on brand for summer, I think I'm going to grab both of my Dose of Colors I Love Sarah E bronzers. I have both Bathe, which is the beautiful pink toned one. I actually have it swatched right here. And then I'm also going to grab this one, which is in, oh, such a beautiful gold. Might be a little bit dark, might be. This is in the shade Soulmate, but I think if I blend this out, I can definitely make this work, especially if I have a self-tan going. And I'm currently testing a new self-tanner out for you guys. I'm testing out the, what is it? It's the one that Target sells, and it's the tan water. So I'm hoping to get super bronze for you guys, and then I can make these highlights work. So I will pull these from my highlight drawer and call it good here. Okay, then we have my really, really full face palette drawer. I'm actually going to, I think I'm going to grab my Natasha Denona Love Glow cheek palette, because I think I can get some good use out of, you know, I'm just going to try and get some use out of all 4 of these shades. My goal is to use at least all 4 of these shades in some manner. Doesn't necessarily have to be on the cheeks, because this is super glittery. Like, that is just, this maybe I'll use on the eyes, but I'm going to try and use all 4 of these shades before putting this back into my collection. And then I also, for some reason, have been thinking about this palette lately. This is the Wander Beauty Trip for 2 palette. I've actually just been thinking about this palette, even though it hasn't been in my everyday rotation, which tells me I need to pull it out. So we will pull this. Okay, the next drawer down is way down there, so you can barely see, but the only thing I'm going to grab out of this drawer is yet another single shadow, another ColourPop Super Shock shadow, and this isn't focusing, of course. I don't even know if it's focused there. So this is in the shade By the Pound, and it was in their Halo Top collection. I actually really like this. It's like a really fun, really sparkly shade. I think it's really beautiful. I don't know, I just really enjoy this one, and it's been a while since I've reached for it, so I will pull this. Okay, my camera did not want to focus. These are the 3 things I'm going to pull out of my new drawer. So I'm going to pull this Sephora Rouge lipstick. I don't know if this is called Spring Break or if it's just in the shade 36 Spring Break, I think is what it is. So I'm going to pull this. I have not yet tried this, so I'm excited to do so. And then I'm also going to test out the Milk Lip and Cheek Oil Glow. I've swatched this and it looks really, really pretty, so I want to try this out. And then finally, I am going to be testing out the Cover FX Water Cloud Primer. This says it has pollution and blue light defense, so I want to give this a test and see what I think of this. So that will be it for my new drawer. I feel like I have so many products to work on the next couple of weeks. All right, and then to wrap it up, I'm just going to talk to you guys about the palettes that I pulled. I've just pulled palettes that are pretty much the newest to my collection. So I recently got the Too Faced Natural Matte palette in a BoxyCharm and have not yet tested this, so I will be pulling this. This is newer to my collection and just such a fun palette that I want to play around with a little bit more. This is the mini color palette, the fun size palette from Sugar Pill. So I'm going to pull this in. I also got the one palette from Lawless during the month of May, so I've used this once, and I will say so far I have been impressed with the palette, with the exception of the shade Everything. I got instant hard pan on this shade. I don't know if it's just my palette or if that is something that other people have experienced with this palette, but I do think it's beautiful. This is like the perfect everyday palette for me, so I'm going to continue to test this out. And then also I got the Fenty Beauty Moroccan Spice palette in my BoxyCharm, so I am going to test this out because I've only swatched this and have yet to test this. But after that, that is going to conclude my Shop My Stash. My desk is still super messy. I need to put my old products away and bring my new products in, but that's going to wrap it up for this week's Shop My Stash. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what products you are currently working on. Are there any products that you're close to hitting pan on or using up? I would love to hear from you guys. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel, and I will catch you in my next one.